Okay guys, here we are for the classic quarter qualifier number 2 semifinals between albertorodalv and FishyFellow. This is Montolio here, and yeah, I'm running solo today. I don't have my partner in crime Josh as he's not available, so you are going to get a one-man show here on the commentation. So we actually have a very interesting match here. albertorodalv is playing what I would call slower version of Dredge. He doesn't have any of the big bombs in it, in the sense that he's not running Sun Titan, he's not running Dread Return. He's just basically running out all the utility creatures, and he slow rolls you that way. He's also got things like 4 main deck Ingot Chewers and 4 main deck Ley Lines. So a bit of an interesting build, which I think is actually going to work against him. Because FishyFellow is playing the White Husser deck, and this deck actually has a surprising amount of answers to Dredge. Even game 1, he's got 2 Ghost Quarters, 4 Wastelands, and a Strip Mine main, and he's got cards like Thalia, which is just super good against Dredge, and also cards like True Believer shutting off his Cabal Therapies and post board, as well as Unmask. So in addition to that, useless creatures like Benevolent Bodyguard can be sacked to remove the Bridge from Belows. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this. Most people don't have much of a chance against Dredge game 1, but I actually think that Fishy has about as good as a chance as you can possibly have. So Alberto won the die roll and has led out with Bazaar of Baghdad, which is pretty darn good after a mull to 6. It'll be interesting to see if he gets hit with a Wasteland effect here. And Fishy seems to be thinking. So I am actually going to be playing the winner of this in the finals of this qualifier. So I would have to say that neither of them is a great match for me, although I never thought I'd hear the day that I said that I would prefer to play Dredge over just about any other deck, as FishyFellow's deck is the only deck I've lost to in the tournament so far, and he beat me 2-0, and it was quite convincing of a beating. So I'm hoping to be, even though Fishy's a buddy, I would much rather prefer to play Alberto. So all that time I was paused. Unfortunately, I was booted and didn't realize it, so I do apologize about that. But looks like Bazaar is getting his stuff wastelanded here, and he's up against a Thalia, which is pretty good. Both at 20 life, so I first glance don't think this looks too good for Alberto. Ancient Grudge in the graveyard is not terrible here if we can get a color producing mana. Alberto's gone through a good portion of his deck here, so also Dark Blast can deal with Thalia in the event he's ever able to get up to 2 mana. We've got multiple Bridge from Belows in the graveyard, but once again, that Thalia is holding any type of Cabal Therapy shenanigans at bay, so let's see what happens here. Also got a Nicorette on that last hit, so that's pretty good. And I suspect we're going to see a Cabal Therapy here, which is going to be extremely powerful. We now have 3 Bloodghast tokens in play, and Alberto can cast the Cabal Therapy from the graveyard. And I'm not sure what the best target for him would be to choose, but I would probably go for something like a Mother of Runes or the Benevolent Bodyguard. As I mentioned, the Bodyguard can sack to itself. But the fact that Alberto's got a City of Brass into play is pretty huge. So Alberto's really thinking about things here, and I have to be honest, I'm not sure why. I think it's, to me at least, it seems very elementary that he should be going for that Cabal therapy. Oh, a white. What would this be? Oh, of course, it doesn't matter what mana. Silly me. Yeah, because getting these 2 bridge from below tokens is just huge, particularly in the sense that he can just recur those blood gas whenever he draws a land next. So it'll be interesting to see what he chooses here as well. He has named True Believer, so we were right on that. One of the 2 cards I would have chosen, and he hit. And he now has intel for next turn in the event that he chooses to go that route. And Fishy looks like he has passed the turn right back to albertorodalv, who has gotten himself an Icarid into play, which is very, very bad news for FishyFellow, because that will once again produce 2 bridge from below tokens. You know, the first strike is almost a bit of a curse here on Dahlia, because if he blocks, he's just giving him back tokens. Oh, and Alberto has also hit a Narcomoeba, which is pretty good, and he still has a couple Cabal therapies in his graveyard, 3 of them to be exact, and he did not attack with the Icarid, which must indicate he does not have another land in his hand. Because if he did it, I would have attacked with everything, because you're not worried about sacking a Bloodghast if you're going to be able to bring it right back to the Cabal therapy. So I have to say this is looking rather convincing right now that Alberto should be able to take this one. Just here right now he's going to get himself another 4 tokens. If he just lets the Icarid die, he gets 2 off of it, and he can also sack a Bloodghast for another 2 creatures. But maybe he's just looking to keep as many guys on the table, not having a land. So maybe it was smart to keep the Icarid back. And there you have it. He has gone and therapied, and let's see what he goes for here. Is it that Benevolent Bodyguard? Well, if he had a Benevolent Bodyguard, he would have been casting it, so it's not that. An Arbiter. What did he name? Let's take a peek here. Phyrexian Revoker. There you go. So he's got lethal on table here now. And Fishy drew the land, which is pretty good. But he still dies because the Icarid's going to be coming back, and that's still lethal damage. Exactly lethal. Yep. It's game. So Alberto has taken the first game. In the event that he attacks with everything, which I suspect he will. So we got some slow-moving decisions here, but every decision is big. And we're moving into the attack phase, and of course Alberto's coming in with everything, which is going to do it. And this is where things get a lot more difficult for Alberto, My apologies. He does survive. I thought that was lethal. As long as he stacks it right here, this should not be in any contest. So Alberto's already fallen 7 minutes behind here. Yeah. That will do it. Thalia put up the good fight, but she got overwhelmed. And there you go, a couple blood gasts. And he can now Ancient Grudge that Chrome Mox. Or Dark Blast at next turn too. Yeah, and that's what he's done. Which is all of no consequence anyways. Just really an overkill. And Kataki. Not going to be good enough. And you got to give Fishy credit. He doesn't like to concede. I think he wants to see if his opponent will make a mistake, not attack or something of that nature. But of course, in this situation, it's inconsequential. And of course, Alberto also has to watch his clock as well, because if this does go along 3 games and 7 minutes apiece, 8 minutes apiece, then you start to get close to the time frame. Yeah. So there you go. There is game 1. Well done, Alberto. 1-0 for him. Okay, here we are in game 2 with FishyFellow on the play. Can he get out a turn 1 RIP? For those of you who are unaware, RIP is Rest in Peace, which is enemy number 1 for all Dredge players. It is a terrible card to have to play against. But probably better to have it now than to have a whole bunch of stuff in your graveyard and get hit with it. See, one of the knocks on Grafdigger's Cage against Dredge is it allows the opponent to set up, the Dredge player to set up, where they get a bunch of stuff in their graveyard that doesn't work, and then end of turn they nuke your Grafdiggers, and then they can just go off the following turn. So, looks like we're going to get a big turn 1 play here out of Fishy. The question is there going to be a Rest in Peace? And this is one of the reasons why I do not like to play Dredge, is it's just a miserable existence trying to fight through the hate. I mean, you're literally trying to do one thing, and that's kill their stuff so you can go off, and it's just such an uninteractive way of playing the game. True Believer, okay. That's actually a pretty powerful play because it shuts off all of his Cabal therapies, as well as his unmasks, and Alberto very well may have been stuck with an unmask in his hand. But he does have the big Bazaar of Baghdad, so that's pretty huge for him. Like, not seeing an RIP right here is significant. Question is Fishy smart enough to be sandbagging an RIP? Okay, so he unmasks himself, removing a Golgari Grave Troll, and he's going to start his dredging process here, which is pretty good, really. And he has done quite well in the fact that he's hit himself 2 Narcomoebas here. Let's take a look and see what we're dealing with here. It's unfortunate that he didn't hit himself a Cabal Therapy there. or any bridges. Oh, he did hit a therapy, but he doesn't have a bridge. Because even if having one bridge there is really solid for being able to start his beatdown, so let's see. Does Fishy have some hate? You know, I would personally think it rather bold to not be packing an RIP or a Grafdigger's Cage. Or, okay, there's the strip mine. I was just going to say a waste effect. That's no surprise that he's sandbagged that. And if we see an RIP here, that's pretty much game. Almost insurmountable for Alberto. But he would have had to have topped it, because I would think it rather silly to not play a turn 1 RIP if you had it in your hand. Both down to 3 cards, both with 2 power and toughness on the board. Will there be a follow-up play here? Yep, a second True Believer. So the beatdown's on. Question is can Alberto do some nice dredging here? And does he have another bizarre? Well, he did hit a bridge. And does he have a land of any sort? No. So, getting hit for 4 now. Double True Believer. And I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Yeah, Fishy does have another follow-up. So, this is not a race Alberto is going to win at this current pace anyways. And double Blood Gassed in the graveyard now. He has still only 1 bridge. You see, what he can do here is, which is not a terrible play actually, is he can Cabal Therapy himself for the Golgari Grave Troll, and he gets a 2/2 token out of it. And I mean, he can block those True Believers. Well, that's actually not true, because he's got a Mother of Runes up against him. So he has done that. He has Cabal Therapy himself, and he's getting a 2/2 token. Definitely a desperate situation, I think, over here for Alberto. He really needs to be doing something. He needs to get into a land. A land at least gives him a fighting chance, as well as another couple bridges. Oh, Path to Exile. Very nice. Fishy is now down to 1 card. I will say this, I have seen Dredge do some very broken things and quickly. However, I don't think that Alberto's build is necessarily constructed that way to be able to just go off. He doesn't have, excuse me, the instant 1-turn kill with the Flamekin, or he doesn't have Sun Titans, and of course the Dread Return package. So he's taking 4 here. whether he likes it or not. Well, once again, a little bit of a fabrication there. I did not expect him to block and just throw his token away. Yeah, that just seals it. Well, there's another bridge, and this should get a concession, I would think. So we're seeing a beatdown for 7 here. With 2 cards in hand for Fishy. And does he just apply more pressure? Maybe a Banisher Priest coming down? No play. Did he hit a land? I mean, even a land is, I mean, it helps him, but I don't see how it wins for him. Okay. So there it is. It's over. Oh. On to game 3, folks. Okay, so here we are. Final game. Who is going to the finals, folks? Is it going to be Alberto in his Dredge build, or will it be FishyFellow in his White Husser deck? And I really don't know. It's definitely, I think, going to be a tough match, or a tough game here. Alberto has used a serum powder, and unfortunately for him, he got rid of 2 of his Cabal therapies. But of course, that's not the key. It's Bizarre Baghdad here and being able to avoid a wasteland. Fishy has mulligan to 6. Looking for some hate, I suspect. And what do we see from Alberto here? Of course, the expected Bizarre of Baghdad. Be interesting to see if he has a misdirection here. Or not a misdirection, an unmask, excuse me. And if he does, he absolutely has to go after a Rest in Peace. He's got all the good dredgers here. Yeah. So unmask. I would think there's a high probability that Fishy has kept a hand with a wasteland effect in it. If not, this could bode very bad for him. You know, Unmask is a card that's kind of become lost in Dredge. I haven't seen it in a long time. Oh, interesting. Thalia. So that would indicate that there's a wasteland in Fishy's hand. There's just any other reason doesn't make an ounce of sense. Yeah. But that might not be enough for him right now, because he has got those dredgers in the graveyard and he can dredge away. Be interesting to see if he uses the Icarid here. I suspect he won't. Just to give himself the insurance if he misses with his Golgari Grave Troll. And he did. Interesting. And he completely whiffed on the dredge. He did get a bridge, which will get him a token. But that's a pretty poor dredge from Alberto. And certainly gives him a window to get to let Fishy back in. So, no land it looks like. Nope. So he's going raw here. Manaless Dredge. Will Fishy have a 1-drop here? Yes, he does. Student of Warfare. And actually a pretty good one, too. Jeez. So we're going to get an Icarid into play here. And he's just got to go with everything. I have to say that this is not going to look good here for Alberto if he doesn't do something. Like maybe he's got that -1/-1 sorcery. Interesting. He just really wants to keep that bridge, I guess, but Fishy can level up here, and this thing becomes a 3/3 first striker. Or no, he has to do it one more time. Oh, Cabal Therapy's a nice one. So he's going to get to take everything out of his hand. I do apologize to the listeners that are hearing my 1.5-year-old daughter upstairs crying. She is really wanting to be part of this match and the commentation. So Alberto does a Cabal Therapy here, and he missed, which is a bit of a surprise because he used Unmask. I would think he knew what was in his hand there, but maybe he's just gonna therapy here for something else. So what did he name? Oh, he put his Grave Troll. He did himself. He chose Bridge from Below. Very smart. And now he's probably going to Cabal Therapy himself. Yeah, that was a really good play. Nicely done, Alberto. I'm still not sure if... Yeah, he's targeting himself, so he's going after that Grave Troll in his hand. And, yeah, geez, another 3 tokens. Well done, Alberto. I don't think Alberto is going to be able to... or Fishy's going to be able to come back from that. That's an extremely difficult position. I only 30 seconds ago I was thinking Alberto was in a really bad position here. But obviously that changed significantly with that Cabal Therapy on himself for the bridges, and then once again for the Grave Troll. I beg your pardon. So there you have it, folks. I don't see how Fishy can come back from this. He just needs creature pressure out there right now, and his best creature for this situation is a Thalia, which he doesn't resolve the issue at all. That's just game. So, just doing some deep thought here, I think. So Fishy plays out of Plains, and what's he got? A Thalia. A Thalia does help, but I don't think it's enough. Very lucky that Alberto didn't have a black creature in his deck there, or in his graveyard, to be able to use that Icarid, because that would have just been icing on the cake. And Alberto's of course coming in with everything, and I do think Fishy has to block with both his creatures here, as terrible as that is for him with that Student of Warfare. just throwing it away, but he can't pump level it up twice. Yeah, he just can't. Yeah, that's game. There's just nothing that can be done here because Alberto is, yeah. Gonna be putting some more creatures onto the table. He did lose. Oh, he had lied. Still not enough though. Yeah. Banister Priest is good. Still not enough though. So there you have it, guys. It looks like albertorodalv is going to win the match and be going off to the finals. And you will be seeing some footage of Alberto and I in the very near future. And it looks like I got my wish. I will be playing against Dredge, which is a scary thought. Alright. There you have it, folks. See you soon.